Hello everyone, good evening, welcome back. It is finally Friday evening, and we do have some stuff to talk about today. First off, economic data, apparently we got it, and I'll explain how, why, what it involves, and why markets kind of went up a little bit today. Some talks from CZ being really hyperactive in terms of what he might do with the United States here after being pardoned by Trump yesterday, and going so far as to allege that Trump might be Satoshi Nakamoto. I know it's satire, but there's some stuff to talk about there. There's some content there that we'll be discussing. Also, you know, what other altcoins are doing, token releases and things like that. We'll be getting into all of that today, so should be a good show. Welcome everyone. Bitcoin's price is currently $111,037, which that's good to see. Finally a little bit in profit. Most of the portfolio is in the green. Aptos was a little green. I could have just, you know, completely closed out of my position on Aptos, but I think I've got negative commission. How do I say this? A positive funding rate? No. It's a negative funding rate, which means that since I'm long, I'm getting paid the funding fees. So I'm already $56 in profit, although it says I'm $5 minus on Aptos. Yeah, well, fair enough. Aptos is completely far down at this moment. So we'll be looking into all of that. What do we got for Bitcoin here? 111,800. This kind of served as a resistance, just a temporary one, but I think it's easy for us to, you know, continue forward. As of right now, the levels that I'm looking at is 115,000. So that might be one area of resistance. I am expecting us to finally maybe get out of this low accumulation phase because the month is ending soon. I'm pretty sure nobody wants to see October be October, or, you know, just be in the red. It would ruin the cycle, right? So we want to see it rise. And I'm sure people are going to push that. You saw how strong the sentiment of October was the first couple of days of October. And, well, let's just say we had a huge liquidation event, but I think people who still believe in the cycle will want to pump the price up as much as they can for the month end, right? And also to kind of be like, look, we started here and we're ending positive despite having the largest liquidation event in crypto history ever. Worse than COVID, worse than Sam Bankman-Fried. You know, it's all of that. Speaking of Sam Bankman-Fried, I think I forgot to cover one part of news. Just one sec. You know what? Forget it. We'll get to it when we get to the news. I probably did include it and I just forgot. No, I don't think I included it. Whatever. We'll get to the news later. Forget that. Ethereum, 3,930. It had a good impulse up to 4,000. Clear rejection over here. We had a high of 4,027 today. We're now at 3,930. So I'm still practically in the green here. Might take profits. I don't really know. We are technically still in a downtrend, right? I was telling you guys before, like, I didn't want to readjust the downtrend line for Ethereum for most of the assets that are still in a downtrend until we fully break out of the levels. I would expect the super trend to kind of like come down a little bit. That's an exaggeration, but something like that, right? To kind of chase this trend line once again, because it's been flat for a very long time, since October 18, using 4,180 as its downtrend and validation zone. It can't stay up there forever, so as long as we have been oscillating down here, it does have to come back down near the 4,000 level. I would say, like, maybe even the local high, maybe even this high, 4,100. That would be the level required by Ethereum to break out of, so that we can see a flip in the trend, you know, toward the upside once again. I hope my diagram makes sense to you and doesn't look like a bunch of squiggly lines. But yeah, that's what I would expect from Ethereum. Which means that no, I don't plan on selling just yet. I'm going to be waiting for any sell signals that get triggered, such as being overbought up here, or, you know, breaking out of major resistances, or if I just see a God candle like this, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna take profit. But that never happens in crypto, does it? Solana 193.35. Stuck around this area currently. Yeah, also one of the assets I was like, we're gonna have to readjust the downtrends as long as it takes. And yeah, I did draw that with the mouse. Welcome, dog with hoodie. Yeah, I know, right? Very, very accurate with my hand. No, not really. So yeah, Solana still 203 before we can see a, you know, trend reversal confirmation, although we do have like a longer term downtrend over here. So yeah. Steve Madden, I know, right? So, okay. In terms of supports, I don't even know. What are we looking for supports? Basically where I have my entry at 172, but that's such a far point away. It seems like it's far, but it's, you know, we do see Solana make these kinds of drops over here, so don't be surprised if you ever do see a drop like this. And if we do, that would be, you know, oversold practically. So that's the levels where I'd plan to, you know, DCA another entry into Solana. I do have an entry currently at 191. We're at 193, like I said, but there's no big difference here. I'm not gonna change much of it. So yeah. Moving on to Hyperliquid, 39.57 is the current price, still in a downtrend as well, and this one's more accurate is what I would say. Resistance at 41.45. Breaking out of that, we finally see a trend reversal, deleting the downtrend, drawing a new uptrend from wherever the low point was. It's going to be tricky drawing uptrends from here because it's like, what do we do with this thing over here? Do we pay attention to it? Do we not? I'm going to lean towards we don't pay attention to that liquidation event because a lot of the drops were exaggerated, especially if you're looking at a futures chart, anything with USDT, USDC. But if you're looking at spot charts, those are probably more accurate, or maybe even line charts that erase most of the volatility that you can basically detect by looking at candlesticks, right? It's probably better that way to just ignore it in the futures chart and just draw from wherever the local bottoms are. You're remaining bearish. Longs are still green, however. You may close them. You have a feeling we go lower. Okay. It's good that you have those opinions. I think we will be going higher, though. I don't see much reasons for us to be dropping, realistically. We're seeing like stocks perform well, seeing gold perform well. And crypto right now is just not that popular right now because of a huge liquidation event that we received. But there's still plenty of reasons for us to remain bullish, in my opinion. So, I mean, if you got any reasons for bearishness, let me know. But yeah, I still think we're bullish. We still need one more leg up. I feel like, you know, the top of this cycle, what most people are expecting is by mid-November, right? So I'm going to stick with that kind of analysis. And then, you know, by December, by January, you know, I'd be fine with opening some short positions there as well. You're surprised with stocks today? Gold pullback was scary. Gold pullback is, that was exit liquidity, honestly. It's, that's clear top signal when everybody is out on the streets buying gold. People are FOMOing in at that point, but pay attention to the rise as well. It was pretty significant when it was on its way up. And stocks overall today, they were performing well because most companies are having good earnings. Some are not, but whatever, who cares about those? And we had economic data today that supports the probability of more rate cuts in terms of inflation. Billions were wiped out in seconds. Big money movers, institutional. Yep, of course. That's what they wait for. They wait for, you know, retail to jump in and then they'll just dump on you. I would admit that gold is a bit overextended, so it's not something that I'm really interested in getting into, like buying gold at this time. So I'd stay out of it. I'm noticing Bitcoin still, relatively speaking, cheap, right? It's And it has so much potential to continue rising is what I'm seeing for it. Yeah, retail keeping the rocket up, I agree. So yeah, that's what I see for this. What do I do with Hyperliquid? Not taking profits quite yet. Maybe even at 41 I'll take profits. What was this? I-40, 82? I don't know. Yeah, well, for Hyperliquid, I'll see whenever I take profits, whenever we reach overbought territory. We're on the way up right now for most of these. Bitcoin's already flipped super trend into the green, so that is why I'm projecting higher movement from here. I know we're entering the weekend. We shouldn't expect too much volatility during the weekend, and if we do, you can start to panic. But it should stay relatively low volatility during the weekend, and then we got things to look forward to. What's going to be crucial, and I stand by what I said yesterday as well, is the meeting that's happening between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump. Whether or not we're going to get, the tariffs going into effect, right? That's going to happen November 1st, the tariff date. But they will be meeting up on October 30th, which is one day after the FOMC meeting. FOMC meeting, I don't think it's going to be a huge catalyst for us to continue rising. It would be nice, to get the rate cut, because obviously it does have to go into effect so that the economy benefits from it. But like most traders, all traders are practically pricing that in at this time. And that's part of the reason I think why we're kind of on the rise a little bit, very slightly on the rise today for most assets, stocks and crypto, especially after the economic reading that we just got today. Just confirmation, a wake-up call like, hey, by the way, did you forget we're getting rate cuts still? So that's what most people are seeing at this time. So don't be too surprised, of course, if there is little volatility after the FOMC meeting. A lot of traders are already pricing that in. I know it's next week, but the uncertainty still remains with the Trump and Xi Jinping meeting, which I think I read into it a little more, and it said that it will happen in South Korea, as mentioned before, but it's been on and off at this point. The Russia-Ukraine meeting, that's a separate thing. I mean, Putin and Trump meeting in Hungary, that's no longer going to happen apparently, and Putin also confirmed something dialogue good, and no meeting with Trump, by the way. That's it. What is the guy's name? Forget it. The president of that country, Hungary. Is it Hungary? I think it is. Budapest, Hungary. Whatever. So that's not happening anymore. It's now we're just focusing on Trump, Xi Jinping, what's going to happen with those guys. Yeah. Chad Jeets, welcome. It is like Advantis. Yeah, gold. Yeah. Retail rushing in to buy, and then insiders or big institutions, they'll just dump on you. It's what it is. Yeah, and I agree. Bitcoin is becoming a different beast. A lot of institutions are looking into it as like a genuinely good asset. It technically is the digital gold, right? Peter Schiff, of course, who is a gold bug, he wants to make digitalized gold, like actual gold, something that you could redeem to, hold tangibly. And that's something that he's going to be debating CZ on. CZ, founder of Binance, ex-CEO of Binance. You know who CZ is, Changpeng Zhao. There's going to be a debate happening. We don't know yet when that's happening, who's going to moderate it. I talked about that yesterday, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Of course, we're going to be, unfortunately, going to have to be rooting on CZ's side, love him or hate him. So yeah. You want 98,000 to 100,000 to load up. I mean, it would be good for Bitcoin, well, for my case as well, right? I wouldn't mind a drop to those levels, and it's something that I could tolerate it. Because my analysis indicates as long as we remain above 96,000, as bad as things are, the bull cycle is still in effect. As long as we remain above 96,000 is what I'm analyzing, right? And that analysis is based off like weekly chart super trend, something that we've been faithfully following. I'm going to go to a USDT chart to show it better. It's basically this, right? I modified the settings to 10.3. This is the default settings, and it accurately predicts, 2022 is where all the downtrend ends right after, you know, FTX collapse, whatever the case is. And then January 2023, I mean, when that flipped to the green, you bought there, you never lost, right? And we've used that basically as support even on the worst days. August 5, April 7, we survived those crashes and we landed right on that super trend. And here we are again. Super trend is on the rise. Well, it rose to 96,293, meaning that if we even drop 2 there and we bounce up on the weekly chart, we're still in a bull cycle, right? Like this kind of stuff can happen, right? And I wouldn't mind it. I would absolutely see this as a huge opportunity for accumulation. Oh, speaking of accumulation, I forgot to buy Bitcoin today and yesterday. I've been way too busy with my job. And my neck is hurting. It really hurts. But that's whatever. I can tolerate it. So, yeah, those are stuff to look out for, of course. Moving on. Plasma, what are you doing? It's up 9%. Oh boy, might take profit. No, it's not that. It's not enough. Well, how much should I put? Shouldn't look at the amount. Should look at the percentage. Plasma. 23% total return. I mean, Hyperliquid's giving me a larger return. It's a 30% return relative to the money that I put in. We're not really overbought yet. I don't want to hold on to Plasma for too long, though. I'll keep the risk. I don't think I should. I think I'm going to close out of Plasma. I'm really contemplating this. Because if I close this over the weekend against all odds, it's just going to moon. Because that's just how the market works. And if I don't close this, it's just going to do that and be like, oh, I should have sold at least 100 profit. Now I'm down 300 something. Like, it's not something I want to be part of. Decisions that you have to make. You know what? Take the guaranteed win. If it does continue dropping, which I expect it to either way, you can't hold on to Plasma for too long. It's very inflationary. And might have some competition. I think it was safe from it, but is there any real use cases for it? USD Tether, will that coin still exist? I'm going to talk about that too, because we have news on Tether that we'll be discussing. So, okay, there we go. $100 in my pocket. No big deal. BitTensor. It's on the way down a little. 380 is the current price. That's not a big deal. My entry's still down over here. I plan to keep it that way for now on BitTensor. It's pretty volatile, so I'll leave it down there. Chainlink is 1783. Trend reversal confirmed on Chainlink. This is where the hard part is. Drawing an uptrend line. I guess that's what we've got so far. Fair enough. Supports would basically be where the uptrend invalidates, which is 1621. And then, I mean, worst case scenario is 1535, around that area. That's where I have another entry if things do continue dropping for whatever reason. I don't expect it to. 1982 is the current resistance. I would maybe bump that up to 20, psychologically speaking, and also the fact that this will be invalid by the weekend. We'll have new pivot levels to look at by Sunday. So I'd pay little to no attention to those. Hey, look at that projection. Almost. No, not really. I was expecting a drop on SUI before we take off to where we are right here, but no. No drop. We just rise, because that's what SUI is good at, right? We totally didn't drop to 56 cents at one point. That never happened. 252 is the current price. 270 is what we need to break to confirm a trend reversal. I have a entry at a support level, 226, 227, around that area. Still like SUI, still believe in the project, and same with Aptos. Sentiments on those projects have not changed. The Solana killers. 329 is the current price of Aptos. 350 is resistance. That's all we really got to pay attention to. In terms of support, like, how much lower can this go? I don't think it can go much lower, but we'll see. Sentiment has changed, of course, after the big liquidation thing. So a lot of people are just flooding their money into Bitcoin because it's safe. And then the altcoins will follow. That's why we want to get into them early, taking that bit of a risk to, you know, reap the rewards. All right, cool. That's what we have for technical analysis. Let's get into the news section. So core CPI for the United States came in at 3%. We were expecting 3.1%. Consumer price index. This talks about inflation. So the inflation that consumers are paying is actually coming in a little lower than expected, which is a good thing. This is bullish for the markets because it improves the odds of us seeing rate cuts. I mean, we already have really high 99% odds of seeing rate cuts for the rest of this year, but it just gives us that positive reinforcement, that confirmation that, yep, we will indeed be getting those rate cuts as expected. Good. And if you're wondering, hey, isn't the government shut down? Why did we get this economic data? How? I looked into it a little bit, and from what I could gather is that it was estimates and previous data from the previous month, right? But, you know, obviously this data was collected before the government did shut down and obviously was scheduled for release, I think, last week, but it was delayed until, you know, ultimately today when they released at least this kind of data before the FOMC meeting, right? Something had to come out. So they pushed that data out. Like I said, this improves the odds of the 3 rate cuts in total for this year. And prediction markets, it's reached an all-time high of 85%. So it's practically guaranteed and priced in. But the White House says that there will likely be no inflation report released next month because this month there's nothing to report the whole time. Or maybe it's a bad report and they're scared to show the numbers. Maybe the comments are right. Shutdown, though, it's I think it's starting to have a negative impact, in my opinion. Like, I know it was positive at the beginning when, you know, October, as soon as it began, shut down. We were not getting economic data. We were not getting non-farm payroll data. And we just had to assume that, yep, jobs numbers are probably going to be bad because of the shutdown, which means more rate cuts, yay, and markets pumped. And then liquidation event happened, total reset. Now we're back at these levels from before, and shutdown is still ongoing. And I've been calling this for a long time. I think it should be time for this shutdown to be over because ETFs are not getting approved or anything. Nothing is happening because SEC is closed, and even Hassett has also explained that the shutdown could drop the GDP by 0.1% each week. Yeah, that's going to be good for rate cuts. This is going to be bad for the economy, though. And I'm looking at like more long-term stuff. Yeah, it's all good short-term. Great, yes. But long-term, this could bring some issues. And hey, who knows? Maybe by December we start noticing the issues, or by January even. I'd say January. Because December we're still expecting another Fed meeting, right? Yeah, I think it's in December. This one's in October 29, the one that's upcoming next week. And then, yeah, December something. We're skipping November. So that's my little concern about what's going on. The International Monetary Fund economic growth projections for 2025 came out. India is still on top for whatever reason at 6%. China is second place at 4% economic growth projection for this year. And the US is a little down here at 2%. Canada is nowhere to be seen, which is just awesome. No, I'm kidding. I don't think they included Canada on this list. I'm sure I could find the data if I really wanted to, but yeah. Germany, worst performer. Russia not doing as good, although it's still, you know, positive. I mean, we're not too distant from it. 2% growth for the United States. Why is Nigeria up here? Saudi Arabia, I could understand, especially with the crypto adoption that they're doing. Poland, good surprise. Spain, Brazil, interesting. And then, yeah, US there. Hey, we'll see. Okay. This was a big talk in crypto Twitter today. Binance founder CZ saying that Donald Trump might be the Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. which would confirm so many conspiracy theories. I don't know which one he's talking about, but Trump says that he believes, well, he can't believe that he hasn't met CZ in person yet, talking about yesterday's addressal at the White House in terms of the pardon that he did for CZ. Saying that, yeah, I never even met the guy, but a lot of people were telling me, yeah, you should meet up with the guy. And CZ now is taking this as an invitation of open arms. President Trump says he believes he hasn't met me yet, which is true, and it would be my honor to do that someday. President Trump and Satoshi might be the same person. This is where the allegation comes out. It's from this tweet, and people are like, what? Trump is Satoshi? Obviously, it's fake, by the way, guys. I'm not gonna like make you guys believe that Trump is Satoshi. Trump is not Satoshi. Please. So CZ jokingly suggests that President Trump and Satoshi might be the same person. Could Trump be Satoshi is what everybody on crypto Twitter is asking. And then this reply came out, which sparked things even further for whatever reason. Unnecessary attention, but it's there. The Trump meme coin Twitter account, Get Trump Memes, right? Replied yes. Obviously it's a joke, it's a meme, so it's not real. But everybody's like, oh, it's confirmed. Donald Trump is Satoshi Nakamoto. What a genius. No, I don't think Trump really knows much about crypto or Bitcoin, to be honest. He didn't even know who CZ was, is what he said, right? And he hasn't met him. I don't know. And then you got this going on in prediction markets. If you want to make a quick dollar, you can just bet no on this. There's a 59% chance that Donald Trump is Satoshi Nakamoto. All right. How does this work? Like, is there a specific date that this has to come out, or what is this? I don't understand these prediction markets, but it is practically free money if you're going to bet on the obvious, right? I mean, tell me another way that you can increase your money with obvious facts, right? All right, anyway. Without actually really betting. CZ's presidential pardon sparks speculation of Binance's US return, right? That's something I also commented on yesterday. The fact that Binance would probably be reopening their services to the United States. CZ said, you know, he's willing and able to work to make America the capital of crypto, which is also another thing that Trump talked about, wants to make America the crypto capital, whatever. Trump just appointed, I would say the word is, Michael Selig as the CFTC chair, the person who oversees commodities, right? We have Paul Atkins in the SEC for securities, and this guy, Michael Selig, as the chair for the CFTC. Just think of Gary Gensler, but pro-crypto. It would be great for crypto because previously led the SEC crypto task force is what this guy did. He was under the previous chair, Chris Giancarlo, who was also pro-crypto. Also, by the way. Partner at Wilkie Farr, who specializes in crypto law. He's pushing for clear crypto rules from the FTC. I'm sure like something, this is going to help with the Clarity Act. Another crypto bill that provides clarity on whether or not an asset is supposed to be a security or a commodity and who is going to be handling the case. That'll be good. And he's also been endorsed by Stuart Alderoty, the CLO of Ripple. I don't know what a CLO is. Chief Leading Officer? Chief something. This is awesome for Canada, by the way. President Trump terminates all trade negotiations with Canada. It's not awesome, it's terrible, and our country sucks. Anyway. Alright, so what do we got? Last week of October. I don't know why this is a meme, but it is a meme, and we're gonna have to deal with it. It's on Pump Fun. I don't remember what the meme is even called, but it exists. And obviously everybody's complaining that this is the worst October ever. Something that I talked about at the beginning of the stream here. The fact that we're in the red, a lot of people are not going to like to see that for October. In the peak of where the cycle peak is close to be, right? I don't think we topped out. I think the top is going to happen in November. So maybe this last week of October, people are going to start to push the prices up a little higher so that we at least end up green. If that is the case, Bitcoin would have to be above, what, 116,000, I think? 117, maybe? Because right now we're down 4% in October. Which, yeah, like I said, not a lot of people like to see that. Bad October, though, usually means one thing, Moon November. Yeah, hey, even if it does end red, I still think November will be a really green month. We'll see, though. Nobody knows the future. In 2024, oh, the irony, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said that Bitcoin is a fraud and a Ponzi scheme. But then, today, JP Morgan announced that it will allow institutional clients to use Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral, by the way. So, yeah, institutions in general, they're changing their view on Bitcoin and crypto. If you can't beat them, join them, literally. Elon Musk, SpaceX company who holds some Bitcoin, they're still moving Bitcoin around. I covered this news before, but this is happening again. They moved $133 million worth of Bitcoin about 40 minutes ago, about 10 hours ago. Yeah. It's the second transfer in the last 3 days. And it, like I said, it seems to be all internal transfers for now. I don't think they're really going to be selling. And even if they do, $133 million when it comes to the context of Bitcoin is pennies, my friends. Tether plans new investments to roll out its USAT stablecoin to 100 million Americans at its December launch. I talked about USAT before. I hope I don't get my comment section flooded with bots again. And this is what I disagree with. Plasma to trillions. I don't think so. Because Plasma focuses on USDT transfers, right? Unless they integrate this new stablecoin, USAT, to also have zero-fee transfers, because that's what Plasma does. It's a blockchain that allows zero-fee Tether transfers, USD Tether. And this new stablecoin that's coming out from Tether as well, called USAT, which is a terrible name in my opinion, by the way, but the reason they're releasing it is because of regulatory reasons, to help, pass a lot of regulations, so to speak, so that it would be good for the Genius Act, right? To align with all of what the Genius Act requires, the requirements, to be, be allowed to be used by lots of banks and institutions, right? Be a little bit more centralized in that sense. Kind of like what USDC is. The reason why USDC is good at this time is because it's regulated in more countries, right? And institutions and banks are favoring that USDC rather than USDT, right? USDT seems to be more of like a retail kind of thing, a degen. I don't know what to explain it as, but literally, like, we're trading with USDT on some pairs, but I've switched over to USDC because if I want to send like money back to, if I want to cash out, let's just say, I can't really cash out on this exchange on BingX because I have to send it to my bank, and that requires a huge transfer fee, right? What I do instead is I send USDC, or I can't send USDT. That's the issue. To a Canadian exchange, crypto exchange, that's allowed in Canada. You can only send USDC, like I said. You pick whatever blockchain. I probably would pick Base because they charge probably the cheapest and are a little faster. I don't care too much about speed as long as I don't pay too much fees is what I care about. But if you do it with Ethereum, it's like $5 for a whole transfer. It's like, brother, who uses this chain anymore? But that's what, the L2s are for. That's what the other blockchains that are EVM compatible do. Right? So, and also USDC, it's, basically, Circle, Coinbase kind of partnership kind of stuff, right? Base network. You could use that, easy transfer, and then you could sell that for Canadian dollars, the USDC, that is, for Canadian dollars, and then send that money to your bank, right? That's the way to cash out, in my opinion. And, converting from USDT to USDC, On this exchange, I mean, it's free, but on other exchanges, you do have to pay like that conversion fee. And I mean, Canadian exchanges don't accept USDT, for example. So that's not an option for me. That's why I personally do prefer USDC. You see me reviewing it on the charts. But that's what USAT aims to fix, right? To allow this kind of stuff to be allowed in many countries so that you can also cash out with USAT, or that's just specifically related to my case. I'm sure there's many other use cases for it that I'm just not mentioning at all, but you know, there are its reasons to be used. Either way, Tether is still the top stablecoin issuer, right? And they are projected to earn $15 billion in profit this year, with an estimated 99.9% profit margin. And that's because they're just widely used everywhere, right? Anything, everything, every crypto pair, especially when it comes to, you know, decentralized finance or futures, derivatives, exchanges, whatever the case may be, it's most likely always going to be in USDT. So that's pretty good. And $1 billion per employee, if that's real, that's huge. We also have this news. Polymarket will be launching their own token. CMO Matthew Modaber confirms a native Poly token, and airdrop. Polymarket is eyeing a new funding round, valuing it up to $15 billion. Okay, well, there you go. VC raising money and airdrops. It's going to be another. I don't know if we need a Polymarket token, to be honest. It's just a betting market, and if you really care about what it's built on, which is the Polygon ecosystem, you would invest in Polygon itself. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Polygon does not look great at all. Never has. Well, this is a... No, okay, here we go, yeah. I think I'd have more data on the USDT chart. I do. Hold on. I don't know why I clicked USDC. I'm just very used to doing that. Okay, well, here we go. That's Polygon for you right now. Inflationary too, so I don't know if I want this. Nobody really does. But yeah. We're going to be getting a Polymarket token. I'm going to treat it more as a meme coin, basically. I don't expect it to go much far. I don't expect it to do well on long term. I could be wrong, but really, what's the case? Everybody does use it, yes, and I mean, they are genuinely a company. If anything, they should have gone out on the... Oh, is that a good idea? On the stock exchange? I don't think so, honestly. Just don't go public at all. Whatever. There's a trader who made $190 million by shorting the crypto markets before Trump's tariff announcement on October 10. You guys remember that? Apparently, he also bet $56,000 on Polymarket that CZ would be pardoned in 2025. It's odd. There's clearly an insider that is just profiting off of all this information. I mean, that's just way too perfect. Or maybe just lucky. You know, you never know. X stocks, we love the tokenized stocks. They have integrated Chainlink, CCIP, and Proof of Reserve across multiple blockchains to strengthen security and transparency for tokenized equities. That's good overall. More trust in those assets. I want to talk about this lady because I have talked about her many streams ago. A billionaire in British Columbia and Canada who is buying out Hudson's Bay stores across Canada because of how great the economy is over here. Hudson's Bay went bankrupt, the most notable, important retail store that is in existence. She basically was going to be buying it all out and had a huge celebration. She's a billionaire in BC. Apparently she lost a court fight to take over the Hudson's Bay properties. Okay, so I guess that's just gonna, you know, look like the back rooms. Hudson's Bay just shut down and nobody's gonna own it. I don't know what the issue is there. From what I last heard, I think it was like 50 stores she was gonna be buying, and I don't know, selling her own products. She sells some Chinese stuff. I don't know. And a little update on the AI battle, Alpha Arena. ChatGPT has lost 42 out of its 44 trades that it's made. ChatGPT, guys, probably not the best financial advisor out there. It's down 7,200 over the last week. Reminder, it started off with 10,000. If you're not aware about what Alpha Arena is, I'm sure you guys are aware. It's basically 6 AIs. You give them $10,000 and you tell them go wild on the crypto markets. Go trade, go do whatever you can, make this money grow. And it's this whole battle now. I don't have an update specifically on them, so I'm just going to be reviewing them individually. I remember Grok is one of them that I had saved. This is how Grok has been performing. It's all on Hyperliquid, by the way, so that we could see. That's not looking good. So if Grok started off with 10,000, it's now losing 1,158 somehow. How do you mess up that bad? The one that was performing really well was DeepSeek, the Chinese AI. And it still looks good. Yeah, it's definitely performing well. I think it's still the top performer over here. 3,000 return, right? So they're at 13,000 balance. Who else? What's the other AIs? There's the Alibaba one that I just forget, and I don't know its address. It's Hyperliquid address, so I'm just gonna have to skip it. But from what I heard is that it's being pretty patient with its trades and taking things slow. Another AI that's also doing that is Claude, which is, you know, I think also built by one of the ChatGPT founders. It's taking things slow and it's losing 1,000 so far. Yeah, only 2 positions, only on Bitcoin and XRP. How do you manage to mess up that bad? What is going on? Let's look at ChatGPT. I think I have it as GPT-5. Let me type, please. Why can't I type? GPT-5. What are you doing? $7,000 indeed lost. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. And you're longing everything. How are you losing in an uptrend? Whatever. I'm also losing, so I don't blame them. What is the other AI? Oh my gosh, I don't remember. Was that all of them? Did I cover all of them? DeepSeek, Alibaba, Grok, Claude, ChatGPT. No, I'm missing one. I'm missing one. Oh my gosh, which one was it? Does it show over here? Please save me. Oh, that's not it. Oh, DeepSeek. No, I already read that. I forget which one. Chinese AI, US AI, ChatGPT. Yeah, we know. Come on, which one was it? Hold on. Alpha Arena. I think I could just look this up. Right? Cool, I hit caps lock instead of A. Okay, here's the list. I think this is a pretty up-to-date list from yesterday. Oh, okay. Apparently, Alibaba's AI is performing the best. That's crazy. And Gemini, that's the one I forgot. Google's AI. Right, they're so irrelevant that I just forgot that they exist. They're not doing any better. At least they're not as bad as ChatGPT, but yeah. Also, Gemini, terrible performer. Yeah. So Grok and Claude are kind of in the middle here, but not performing that great. You're better off holding Bitcoin, right? DeepSeek AI and what's this one called again? I don't remember what it was called. Q something. The Alibaba's AI, whatever. Chinese, by the way, seem to be the best performers in the market so far. That's crazy. I was betting on Grok here, but we've been let down. Grok was like a really close second if you just followed like the black line, but it's fallen off over here. What did you do wrong? I don't want to know. Oh, Quen. That's what the AI is called. Quen 3 Max. All right. I would love to know the address, but the only post that I found that showed the address it doesn't, they didn't include Quen's address, the Hyperliquid address. Yeah, so I can't really find it. Okay, well, there you go. That's your little update on Alpha Arena, if you care at all. Great. Man, Polymarket. I don't know about that token, by the way. So, okay, before I leave you guys with this line up, just, we're going to have a bit of this, and then we're going to do that. Is from what I'm expecting. I would prefer, at least one more dip. And by the way, I caved. I did put a limit order over here. I don't remember if I covered it live. Probably going to have to change it because super trend is on the rise already for Bitcoin. At 105 is where it invalidates. Didn't really talk about supports, did I? So, yeah, I don't know. No, I think I did include this one live. I just increased it from 100,000 to up here. But hey, keep in mind, a drop can still happen. I'm not going to completely rule that out. There's a reason why it could happen. Fed surprises us by not cutting rates. That would be horrible, imagine. No, I think they will. They have to. And tariffs just going into effect November 1st is going to be a rough start if the meeting does not go well between Trump and Xi Jinping. We'll see. So Wednesday, FOMC meeting. Thursday, Trump, Xi Jinping meeting. Friday, we all decide what happens after that meeting. And if nothing happens, November 1st, that's Saturday, tariffs go into effect, everything crashes, and we exit the markets. We don't actually exit the markets, but I'm just saying. It's not going to be good, but I will be buying dips if there are any. Economic data does not exist, so yeah, not much else to talk about there. Here, yeah, Fed interest rate decision, Fed press conference. That's the only thing to really look out for next week. We did get this inflation data that came out, which was good, by the way, like I explained, right? Less inflation. We don't got to worry about, tariffs adding to the inflation. And it gives us a green light for cutting rates because we could tank some inflation, so to speak, right? We could take the damage a little. So yeah, that'll be all for tonight. That's all the news I had to cover. Thanks guys so much for tuning in, for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Just one reminder to subscribe. That is all.